who really was Baruch Spinoza? A philosopher, a heretic, or a man ahead of his time? Born in the heart of Amsterdam, 1632, Spinoza was the offspring of Portuguese Jews who had fled the Inquisition. Early on, his world was steeped in the rich traditions of Judaism, influenced greatly by his father, a successful merchant and a devoted scholar. But young Spinoza was not content with the familiar. His mind was a fertile ground for questions, for wonder, for philosophy. Tragedy struck when both his parents passed away, leaving him an orphan. It was a loss that might have crushed many. But for Spinoza, it served as a catalyst, pushing him further into the labyrinth of philosophical thought. Here was a young man, orphaned and alone, yet driven by an insatiable curiosity and a thirst for understanding that was to shape the course of his life. The young Baruch Spinoza, orphaned and intrigued, began his journey into the realms of philosophy. Spinoza, the young philosopher, soon found himself at odds with the traditional Jewish community. This firebrand of a thinker dared to challenge the established norms, casting a critical eye on the Bible and Jewish traditions. His audacious questioning led to his excommunication at the tender age of 23. But this did not deter him. No, it only fueled his passion for knowledge. Spinoza's ideas were radical, revolutionary even for the 17th century. He proposed a unique perspective of God, viewing the divine not as a separate entity but intertwined with nature itself. He saw humans not as sinners or saints but complex beings capable of both good and evil. His shift from religious education to secular philosophy was a daring leap into the unknown. Yet he survived, subsisting on the meagre earnings from lens grinding. This humble profession, however, did not stifle his intellectual pursuits. Excommunicated and isolated, Spinoza found solace and freedom in the world of philosophy. Despite his isolation, Spinoza's works echoed through the corridors of intellectual discourse. His magnum opus, Ethics, was a game-changer. In it, he boldly proposed that God and nature were two sides of the same coin, a radical divergence from the conventional religious thought of his time. His theological political treatise, another significant work, championed the power of reason and rationality, challenging the authority of superstition and prejudice. Spinoza was a firm believer in determinism, asserting that everything happens out of necessity and that freedom is our capacity to understand this necessity. His ideas sparked debates, influencing Enlightenment thinkers like Voltaire and Kant, and resonating with modern-day scientists and philosophers. Posthumously, Spinoza's fame surged. His fearless pursuit of truth, his unyielding commitment to rational thought, and his profound understanding of the universe have left an indelible mark on the world. Spinoza, the lens grinder, had indeed ground a new lens for the world to look through. Spinoza's philosophy, radical in his time, resonates even today. His concepts, once deemed heretical, have since shaped the course of modern philosophy, science, and even political thought. He dared to challenge conventional wisdom, sparking the curiosity of future luminaries such as Einstein and Nietzsche, who found in Spinoza's thinking a mirror reflecting their own thirst for knowledge and understanding. His emphasis on rationality and freedom, concepts we often take for granted today, were groundbreaking in his era. Spinoza dared to argue that humans were not the puppets of divine will, but rather the masters of their own destiny. His ideas ignited a revolution of thought that still burns brightly, influencing our understanding of the world and our place within it. Baruch Spinoza, a philosopher, a heretic, a man beyond his time. His legacy continues, his ideas still provoke, and his spirit still inspires.